Data mining is an automatic or semi-automatic technical process that analyzes large amount of scattered information to make sense of it and turn it into knowledge. It looks for anomalies, patterns or correlations among millions of records to predict results, as indicated by the SAS Institute, a world leader in business analytics. In the meantime, information continues to grow and grow. A 2017 research on big data reveals that 90% of world data is from after 2014 and its volume doubles every 1.2 years. In this context, data mining is a strategic practice considered important by almost 80% of organizations that apply business intelligence according to Forbes. Thanks to the joint action of analytics and data mining, which combines statistics, artificial intelligence, and automatic learning, companies can create models to discover connection between millions of records.
In 1763, Thomas Bayes published a paper regarding a theorem for relating current probability to prior probability called the Bayes theorem. It is fundamental to data mining and probability since it allows understanding of complex realities based on estimated probability. In 1805, Adrian Maria and Carl Friedrich applied regression to determine the orbits of bodies around the Sun, that is, comets and planets. The goal of regression analysis is to estimate the relationship among variables, and the specific method they use in this case is the method of least. In 1956, Lawrence J. Fogel formed a new company for application of evolutionary programming. It was the first company applying evolutionary computation to solve real-world problems. In a 1936 paper on computable numbers, Alan Turing introduced the idea of universal machine capable of performing computations like our modern day computers. The modern day computer is built on the concepts pioneered by Turing. With sophisticated database management system, it is possible to store and query terabytes and petabytes of data. In addition, data warehouse allows users to move from a transition-oriented way of thinking to a more analytical way of viewing the data. However, extracting sophisticated insights from these data warehouses of multidimensional models is very limited. John Henry Holland wrote Adaptation in Natural and Artificial System, a groundbreaking book on genetic algorithms. It is the book that initiated this field of study, presenting the theoretical foundation and exploring application. Retail companies and financial community are using data mining to analyze data and recognize trends to increase their customer base, predict fluctuations in interest rates, stock prices, and customer demand. Moneyball by Michael Lewis is published and changed the ways many major league front offices do business. Oakland Athletics used a statistical data driven approach to select for qualities in players that were undervalued and cheap to obtain. In this manner, they successfully assembled a team that brought them to the 2002 and 2003 playoffs with one-third the payrolls. In 2015, DJ Patel became the first chief data scientist at the White House. Today, data mining is widespread in business, science, engineering, and medicine, just to name a few. Mining of credit card transactions, stock market movements, national security, genome sequencing, and clinical trials are just the tip of the iceberg for data mining applications. Teams like big data are now commonplace, with the collection of data becoming cheaper and the proliferation of devices capable of collecting data.
We use data mining techniques for a long process of research and product development. As this evolution was started when business data was first stored on computers, also it allows users to navigate through this data in real time. We use data mining in the business community because it is supported by three technologies that are now mature. First is master data collection. Data collection is the process of gathering and measuring data, information, or any variables of interest in a standardized and established manner that enables collector to answer or test hypotheses and evaluate outcomes of the particular collection. This is an integral, usually initial component of any research done in any field of study such as the physical and social sciences, business, humanities, and others. The second is powerful multiprocessor computer. The third is data mining algorithm. An algorithm in data mining is a set of heuristics and calculation that creates a model from data. To create a model and algorithm, first analysis the data you provide looking for specific types of patterns or trends. The algorithm uses the results of this analysis over many iterations to find the optimal parameters by creating the mining model. These parameters are then applied across the entire data set to extract actionable patterns and detailed statistics.
We come to the moderation of the topic data mining. Why data mining or the need of data mining? There is an explicit growth of data in the volume of data because of the ease of storage, because of the computerization, and the businesses like Flipkart or Amazon e-commerce, whatever we search in the Google or web, and the scientific areas like remote sensing areas, and also the biological scientific simulation, and even the social media areas like new digital photography. All these give or generate a lot or a huge amount of data, but these knowledge are not giving us enough knowledge about the data we are gathering. So this is a problem arising, and this give rise to a new method, which will give rise to an advanced method of gathering all these information together into meaningful information, and this process is known as data mining. And in the data mining cycle, the major goal is a business goal, and then we can see identification of that goal, and also there is a preparation for that data, and also evaluation, and there is a modeling of data, and final is a presentation of that data. This is a more cycle of a data mining. Here I am going to discuss the different techniques involved in the process of data mining. The first technique is artificial neural network. Artificial neural network is having three layers: an input layer, and the hidden layer, and an output layer. Artificial neural network is a model from the neural computing, and it is used in the data mining process for the classification of data, prediction, the feature mining, and also pattern recognition processes. This is one of the most important techniques used in the data mining process. The second technique is the decision trees. Decision trees are having a tree-like structure, which is to represent the set of decisions, and it consists of a root node, internal node, and leaf nodes. Root node is situated at the top portion of the tree and internal, and then the leaf nodes. The internal nodes which denotes the various tests on the attributes, and the leaf portion which shows the class labels, and the branch which connects them denotes the outcome or output of the test. And the example for decision trees are classification trees, registration trees. Is one of the other important technique in the data mining process. Third technique which is involved in the process of data mining is genetic algorithm. Genetic algorithm is a heuristic search method which is used in artificial intelligence and also in computing. It has excellent features for finding or searching results on data sets, and it also solve the problems based on the concept of evolution. The evolution concept may include the mutations, genetic combinations, natural selection, etc. And the fourth technique is the nearest neighbor technique. The nearest neighbor technique, a case will be assigned, which is assigned by the majority vote of the k neighbors, and among the k neighbors, the most common will be taken, and case will be assigned among the kth neighbors, and if the is based on the distance functions, and this value of this function is 1, the case will be directly or simply assigned to the k class of the nearest neighbor. And this method or technique is either known as k nearest neighbor technique. This is one of the most important technique which is involved in the process of data mining. The last technique which is involved in the data mining process is rule induction. In the rule induction method, there is extraction of formal rules from a set of observation, and there is extraction of useful if then rules from the data, and it is an area of machine learning, and the rules which are extracted from the observations which represent the full scientific data set or merely the local patterns of data. And these are the various data mining techniques. There is the artificial neural network, decision trees, the genetic algorithms, and the nearest neighbor technique, and the rule induction are the various techniques which is involved in the data mining. There are areas where data mining had good and bad effects. We will discuss some of the good effects of data mining. The first thing is the prediction of future trends and probabilities, and thereby the customer purchase habits. The predictive analysis is the part of the data mining process, helps to predict the future outcomes of a product or an event. And next is improves the company's revenue and lower the cost. And by predicting the future trends, the company can produce more needful products, and thereby they can improve their revenue. Next is market basket analysis. In the market basket analysis follows is a modeling technique in which people buy a group of item and they buy another group of item, and it follows a very straight line forward algorithm. Next, and important is a fraud detection. Fraud detection, the outliers fraud detection method is used to detect the frauds in the credit card like problems. That is an important good effect of data mining. Next one is helps with the decision making. The predictive nature which helps to make important decisions by learning from the past experiences. The company can learn from the past experience and improve their performance. Here we will discuss some of the bad effects of data mining. The first issue is user privacy and security. The certain companies store the personal information of people for business purpose, and the business doesn't last forever. These information get leaked with other companies and which affect the privacy of people. And the next issue is the amount of data is overwhelming. As the data mining process is consists of huge amount of data, the critical information or the important information which will be either hacked by any of the hackers, which will affect the people. Therefore, it is an issue in the data mining process, and it happened in the case of Sony and Ford Motors. Another issue is the data mining has at the implementation level cost is very high, as it has a large and a complex setup, and also there is a possible misuse of information. People, in order to harm others, some people misuse the informations of people, and data mining doesn't has a proper solution through the mining process is another issue. And next is a possible inaccuracy of data which affects the credibility, efficiency and performance of the system, and is also another bad effect of data mining.
So I am discussing about different applications of data mining. So this is the list of areas where data mining is widely used. So the areas are the financial data analysis, retail industry, telecommunication industry, biological data analysis, other scientific applications, and intrusion detection. In financial data analysis, the data mining is used for predicting a customer's loan payment and credit policy, the classification and clustering of customers for a targeted marketing, and the detections of money laundering and other financial crimes. So while looking at retail industry, the data mining has a greater application because it collects large amount of data from customers' activities. So data mining in retail industry helps in identifying the buying patterns and trends that led to improve the quality of service and satisfaction. The intrusion refers to any kind of actions that threatens integrity, confidentiality, or the availability of network resources. These are the areas where data mining is used. In the case of intrusion, analyzing of stream data, distributed data mining, and query tools, etc. are the applications of data mining. Telecommunication industry, data mining helps in identifying the telecommunication pattern to catch fraudulent activities, to increase the quality of services, and to make better use of resources. Biological data mining is a very important part of bioinformatics. Some of the uses of data mining in this scenario are alignment, index, and similarity search, and comparative analysis, multiple nucleotide sequences, genetic data analysis, and analysis of genetic networks and protein pathways.
Now we have to discuss about data mining architecture. We need to apply efficient and new technology to be in best way. To use the data mining architecture, we have to use extra steps for extraction and importing of the data. Data mining architecture consists of too many components, but the important some component can be discussed here. The first one is data source. Data source that contain it may be a database. It can be represented by a text field or text sheet, and the other main important inputs are given by the net and World Wide Web. The next one is data warehouse server. It is the server that give input to the system. Actually, it consists of the data that are ready to process. The third one is data computing engine. This is used to do the special tasks such as integration, classification, abstraction, specification, prediction, etc. And the next one is pattern evaluation module. This is a module in the computing engine. This module can be used to identify the interestingness value of each pattern that given by the user. For this, we use a extra parameter called threshold value. The next one is graphical user interface. This interface is used to communicate between the user and system. By using this, it became more easy for the user to use this system more efficiently and easily. User give query to the system, and it is processed by the interface and give the result in easily understandable manner by the user. The last is knowledge base. It is the most beneficial part of the system. It consists of the user beliefs and input data given by user make more reliable and accurate system. These are the major components of the data mining architecture. Another important topic that we have to discuss is data mining process. Data mining is already known as knowledge in database, that is KDD. Mainly, the data mining process is classified into two: data preparation and data mining. Data preparation consists of different steps. The first one is data clearing. The input that given to the system is data that contain many noises and irrelevant data. These can be removed by using this phase. So we get a pure data from the output of this phase. The next phase is data integration. The data that we used here can be stored in text files, and spreadsheets. May faces problems like redundancy of data. That is, a data can be stored in multiple times. This reduces the reliability of the data. This can be avoided by using this phase without depending on the without reducing the reliability. The next phase is data selection. In this process, the query that given to the user, given to the system by user, is analyzes and retrieve the data that is that can be the result into the user side is by using these phases. And the next phase was data transformation. Here the data get transformed, the selected data get transformed and consolidate, and the additional processes like normalization, generalization and aggregation can be done here. Next phase is data mining process. In this phase of data mining, we have to apply methods to extract patterns from the data. As these methods are complex and intelligent, it is also includes several one is pattern evaluation phase. In this phase, the inserting patterns representing the knowledge that are identified and given the measured value. And the next one is knowledge representation. It is the final phase that in this particular phase, the knowledge is discovered and represented to the user. This is essential step for visualization technique that help user to understand the interpret data mining result. These are the main steps that we use it in this process. Classification of data mining can be discussed here. There are too many systems that are available, but here we are discussing about major 4 classification. The first one is classification according to type of data source that are mined. According to this type, they are again classified into spatial data, multimedia data, time series data, text data, World Wide Web, etc. And the second category is that classification according to data model drawn. In this classification, it is done on the basis of data model such as relational database, object-oriented database, data warehouse, transactional database, etc. And the third classification is based on the kind of knowledge that we discovered. In this classification, it is done on the basis of kind of knowledge such as characterization, discrimination, association, classification, etc. And the fourth classification according to the mission technique used. As data mining system employees are used to provide different techniques. According to the data analysis, we have to do classify this such as machine learning, neural network, genetic algorithm, etc.
Data mining system faces a lot of challenges in today's world. We are going to discuss some of that. First, mining methodology and user interaction issue. Second, performance issue. Third, issue relating to the diversity of database type. First one, mining methodology and user interaction issues. Mining different kinds of knowledge in database. Different users, different knowledge, different ways. That means different clients want different kinds of information, which it becomes very difficult to cover vast area of information. Interactive mining of knowledge at multiple levels of abstraction. Interactive mining allows users to search for patterns from different angles. Data mining should be interactive because we could not. It is difficult to know what can we find within a database. Next, incorporation of background language. Background process is used to guide, discover, process and to express the discovered patterns. Second, the performance issue. Efficiency and scalability of data mining algorithms. To effectively extract data from a huge amount of data in the database, the data mining algorithm should be scalable and efficient. Parallel, distributed and incremented mining algorithms. Huge size of many databases and wide distribution of data and the complexity of some data mining methodologies or algorithms encourages the use of parallel and distributed algorithms. This divides the data into partitions and executes it parallelly. Issues relating to the diversity of database type. Handling of relational and complex type of data. There are different kinds of data stored in different databases and data warehouses. It is not possible for a single system to mine all these data. So different systems should be provided for considering different data in the other warehouses or data. Mining information for heterogeneous databases and global information system. Since data is fetched from different sources on LAN and WAN, the discovery of knowledge from the different sources of structure is a great challenge to data mining.
So here we are at the end of the video. As conclusion, data mining brings a lot of benefits to business, society, governments as well as individuals. However, privacy and security and misuse of information are the big problems if not addressed and resolved properly.